One of the most unsettling aspects of Jeepers Creepers is how it handles fate and inevitability. It's this entire oppressive force that governs the whole story. I mean, from the moment that Darry and Trish cross paths with the Creeper, they're locked into this irreversible chain of events, no matter what they do to try and resist it. Their actions and their decisions that they make don't change the outcome. They simply move the characters closer to it. And it's this fatalistic structure that sets Jeepers Creepers apart from other horror films where, the protagonist can sometimes find ways to outsmart or escape the monster. In Jeepers Creepers, survival isn't just about how clever somebody is or how strong they may be. It's about whether or not you were chosen, and if you were, there's nothing that you can do about it. From the very beginning, Jeepers Creepers establishes the road as kind of this symbol of fate. The open highway should represent freedom and choices, but instead, it becomes this one-way path towards impending doom. The film starts with this brother and sister named Darry and Trish on the road, and it ends with Darry's death in this abandoned factory. It's been out for over 20 years. Sorry I didn't give you a spoiler warning, right? But both of these places, the road and the abandoned factory, are governed by the Creeper. This alone suggests that from the moment they entered its domain, which was the highway, I guess, that runs in front of this empty church that he uses as a dumping bin, their fate was set in stone. Their choice to investigate the pipe, which should be a moment of free will, actually locks them into their fate. The more they struggle, the tighter that noose becomes. In classical tragedy, characters often set their own downfall in motion through some sort of fatal flaw, like their hubris or their curiosity or their defiance. But Darry's decision to go down that pipe in front of that abandoned church mirrors that idea. It's an act of agency that, paradoxically, nailed it, takes his agency away. I want to talk about Giselle, right? She's the psychic woman. She cements the film's connection to classical fatalism. In mythology and literature, oracles never tell people what they want to hear. What they do is tell them what's going to happen, and it's really up to them if they listen or not. Giselle warns Darry and Trish about the song Jeepers Creepers, and she tells them to run when they hear it because something terrible is about to happen. She even describes visions of Darry's fate, but rather than using this knowledge to try to avoid it altogether, the prophecy merely ensures it. When Giselle tells Darry that he likes you, it's already too late, dude. The Creeper has him marked. He knows his name. He knows what his underwear smells like. Just watch the movie, all right? When she tells him that trying to fight or run won't change anything, she's dead right. The police, the weapons, even their own instincts just are useless. Giselle's role mirrors figures from Greek tragedy like Cassandra, who's cursed to see the future but also never to be believed. Her knowledge doesn't ever save anybody, it only makes their doom that much more painful. The film plays, admittedly cruelly, with the feeling of free will. Trish and Darry do make choices, but every one of them just tightens the grip of fate rather than loosening it, right? Now, if they were to have ignored the Creeper after they first saw him down the first run into the highway, I think they would have been able to leave in peace, right? But the moment that they tried to understand what they saw and they drove back to that pipe, that's when their fates were sealed. Going to the police station should make them safer, but instead, it doesn't, dude. It allows them to it allows the Creeper to track them down in a much more enclosed space, leading to a worse outcome. And even when Trish begs the Creeper to take her instead of Darry, what a great sister. It doesn't matter. Their biggest flaw in this moment is that there's still a choice to be made. She believes that, right? But there isn't. The Creeper chose Darry. He was hunting him, and nothing can change that. This is a core idea in fatalistic horror. It's the belief that human actions can influence the outcome. But they're wrong. They don't. That's what makes it fatalistic. The moment that the Creeper marked Darry, his death became inevitable. Let's talk about the song Jeepers Creepers. It was originally written for a movie called Going Places that aired in 1938. The song is almost 100 years old, dude, and it's got dozens of covers, all great in their own right. Sorry, going off on a tangent. But yes, it's a creepy motif, but it's not just that. It represents the idea that fate is in motion. Every time the song plays, it's a reminder that Darry's destiny is catching up with him. And you might think that if Darry hears the song, then he can just turn it off or turn it down or something, but he can't. Or he doesn't. This thing is just playing on a loop, and it's just like his unavoidable fate. It's not going anywhere. It is cheerful, the song is a little bit mocking, and it's indifferent to the suffering that it foretells, but much like fate itself, the song doesn't care about Darry's feelings. It simply announces what's coming. Its repetition throughout the entire movie reinforces the idea that events are preordained. No matter where they run, no matter how much they struggle, the song will always play when death is near. The use of this seemingly innocent song to represent this horrible fate is kind of similar to a movie like Nightmare on Elm Street, how they were using nursery rhymes as warnings. But here it's much more insidious. It's not a warning to prevent something, but a confirmation that something is about to happen. Unlike many other horror movies where the hero at least has some sort of chance, Darry never does. His final fate, which is having his eyes taken by the creeper, which is so funny to me because, whenever the creeper has a failing body part, he simply will eat that part of another person and then absorbs all the goodness from it to make himself even stronger. So this implies that the creeper had bad eyesight, couldn't see very well. But he liked Darry's eyes, but anyway. By the time this actually happens, the creeper takes Darry's eyes. It feels less like a twist and more like something that was always meant to happen. The creeper's fixation on Darry was never random. It knew exactly what it wanted from the moment he decided to target him. And the final shot of Darry, all hollow-eyed and lifeless, mirrors the visions that Giselle had from early in the movie. She saw it happen before it happened, and that's, I think, one of the scariest parts. It proves that there was never any way to stop it. The horrors of Jeepers Creepers isn't just that a monster exists, it's that once it chooses you, there is no escaping it. There's no heroics, there's no tragedy, there's no last-minute rescue. The film takes a bleak and, again, fatalistic approach. Sometimes, the monster wins just because it's always going to. Many horror films focus on characters fighting for survival with some sort of hope that they could make it out alive, but Jeepers Creepers is different because it denies these characters and its audience, me and you, that hope from the very beginning. If you go into Jeepers Creepers originally thinking that the creeper just kills, you're wrong. It chooses, and once you've been chosen, that's it, dude. No matter how much Darry struggles, no matter how much Trish tries to reason with it, the film was always going to end with Darry dying. This lack of control is what makes Jeepers Creepers so terrifying. It isn't a film about making the right choices. It's a film about realizing that choices sometimes don't matter at all.